Hello, I'm Nathaniel Smith, and here's another book review. And this one, of course, is A Series of Unfortunate Events, the first book, entitled The Bad Beginning. Oh, you know it's a good book when it's titled The Bad Beginning, don't you? Let me just read this little bit of the book. And this basically shows how awesome this series is. There are many, many types of books in the world, which makes good sense, because there are many, many types of people, and everybody wants to read something different. For instance, people who hate stories in which terrible things happen to small children should put this book down immediately. But one type of book that practically no one likes to read is a book about law. Books about the law are notorious for being very long, very dull, and very difficult to follow. No, to read. Anyways, this is one reason many lawyers make heaps of money. The money is an incentive. The word incentive here means an offered reward to persuade you to do something you don't want to do. To read long, dull, and difficult books. And this is a children's series. Oh, it's wonderful. I'm sure the idea of orphans that have a rich fortune which they can't get, but some evil villain gets or wants to get and does everything he can but always fails because the children, has been done before somewheres. But it's just the way Lemony Snicket writes it, his own character and writing style. Because out of all the books I've ever read, this is the only series that I honestly think the author is a fictional character. I mean, yeah, you have it where the pen names, if you will, of an author, like Lewis Carroll or something like that. But with Lemony Snicket, he's a full-blood character here. He has little references to himself. He has to Beatrice, darling, dearest, dead. You know the author is a part of this other world that the series of unfortunate events are in. True. And his character just seeps in with little letters, and even the summary is awesome. Look at the summary. Dear reader, I'm sorry to say that the book you are holding in your hands is extremely unpleasant. It tells an unhappy tale about 3 unlucky children. Even though they are charming and clever, the Baudelaire siblings lead lives filled with misery and woe. From the very first page of this book, when the children are at the beach and receive terrible news, continuing on through the entire story, disaster lurks at their heels. One might say they are magnets for misfortune. In this short book alone, the 3 youngsters encounters a greedy and repulsive villain, itchy clothing, a disastrous fire, a plot to steal their fortune, and cold porridge for breakfast. It is my sad duty to write down these unpleasant tales, but there is nothing stopping you from putting this book down at once and reading something happy, if you prefer that sort of thing. With all due respect, Lemony Snicket. It's just fascinating. I just don't know of any other world where the author is a fictional character of the world of the story he's in. And that's what makes it all the more interesting. Him recounting it, and the little you know about him also makes it all the more interesting. Like, we don't know why has to write these stories about the Baudelaire orphans, at least in the first book anyways. I don't think it was ever explained in any of the series, but I think that was one thing that was great about the story itself. Not only do you have 3 great main characters, the Baudelaire orphans, you have Violet, who's the inventor of the group. She's like, what was that one guy called? There's this old TV show where this guy would just make all these little gadgets and things. Well, Violet's like the girl version of that, you know. What was that show called? You make gadgets and things out of nothing. Ah. Oh well. Anyways, Violet can do stuff like that. Claus is the book brain of the group. He always reads books. And of course the baby is a biter. Well, one other thing I have to admit is the drawings are impressive. There's something unique and memorable about them. Just look at the cover. How does that cover not interest you? The atmosphere and tone of the book. The fact that they don't shy away from death or people wanting to kill you. The fact that they admit even child abuse in a manner of speaking. And just the clever writing style. It's just a good book. So read it. You don't even need to be a child to read it, but you can read it, and it's fun. And even though the book has a lot of segments where you have little dictionary tidbits, like what I read with the lawyers, it's generally always funny and unique. True. So it's not like over teaching you, as it were, which makes it all the more interesting and fascinating. But with that, bye.